Tom Brady's saga has officially begun. Will Tom Brady return to New England? Will he go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Will he go to the Las Vegas Raiders? Or is there another team out there for him to go to next season? Or, of course, the big one, will he retire? Now, of course, Tom Brady is the winningest quarterback in the NFL ever, won the most Super Bowls ever in NFL history as well. The greatest quarterback, all the accolades, etc., go to him. However, last year was not very good in Tampa Bay. Things did not go well there. Byron Leftwich ultimately was let go from his duties after the season was over. Seemed like the Tom Brady and Leftwich seemed to butt heads a little bit as far as what exactly they wanted to do offensively. Of course, the off the field issues were mounting for Tom Brady as well. Going through a divorce, whatever else might be going on behind the scenes as well. Gronkowski wasn't there, one of his best friends in football, to kind of keep his head out of it, and it just seems like he was really bogged down last year. Now, what could happen this offseason? Well, I think he's going to take the next few weeks to kind of really determine A, do I really want to play? And two, can I still do it at a high level? I don't think Tom Brady would continue to play quarterback if he didn't think he was going to be able to perform at the highest of high levels. We saw him be able to be one of the most, through the most pass attempts last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's led the league, I believe, in that category the last 2 years. And he doesn't show any signs slowing down as far as that is concerned. It is starting to show as far as his effectiveness, his ability to fit the ball into tight windows, pace on the ball, reading defenses, not getting tired mentally during games. And a lot of that has to do with the off the field stuff, which is why another season away from that might help him improve in those areas. He is still a 45-plus-year-old quarterback, so take all that into consideration. But for the sake of argument, let's say that he decides to come back to the NFL. What is he going to do? Well, we know he's probably not going to go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Arians is no longer there. Leftwich, who was his offensive coordinator, no longer there, which right now seems like a positive. But that team just really has no juice going forward. They're going to let a whole bunch of their veterans players walk. That team got old really fast and couldn't protect him up the middle. Jansen tried to return in time for the postseason, played well against the Dallas Cowboys, but the Cowboys were still able to put enough pressure on them to easily advance against the Buccaneers. Now, where exactly could he go? New England, could he go back there? I believe there is an outside chance of that happening, yes. Mac Jones hasn't exactly lit the world on fire. I think there is an opportunity for him to come back there. If he wanted to go there, I think Robert Kraft would make it happen. I think Bill Belichick might let bygones be bygones and just say, the heck with it and get it done. I think they otherwise will probably stick with Mac Jones or maybe even go after a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo anyway, not Jimmy Graham. But Jimmy Garoppolo would be another former New England quarterback who would come into the fold and be a nice improvement over Mac Jones. But where exactly will Tom Brady go? I'm not saying that New England Patriots. Go ahead and cross them off your list as well. That leaves the Miami Dolphins, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Tennessee Titans, other teams that need quarterbacks as well. Let's start with the Miami Dolphins. They tried to bring him in along with Sean Payton last year. They were fined and lost draft picks due to tampering because of those things. And so I don't think that he will go there. I think they're going to stick behind Tua Tagovailoa, concussions and all. And he's going to be their starting quarterback next year. And that coming from Adam Schefter the last couple days is that Tua Tagovailoa will be the starter next season for them. Now you have to consider that Lamar Jackson's going to be out there as far as free agents. Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr as well. Players that could take up some of the other quarterback spots around the league. But I think a lot of those teams are also going to wait for Tom Brady to make his decision. Because where he goes, the rest of the pieces will then fall into place relatively quickly thereafter. The Las Vegas Raiders seem to be the most popular team out there. They do have some nice weapons on offense. They have a running back in place. They already have the offensive guy in line right now, Josh McDaniels, who knows Tom Brady, who's worked with him before, has been his offensive coordinator for over 10 years in New England. Going back to something familiar might be what's best for Tom Brady, but again, that offensive line, not exactly the best in the world. Could use some improvement. Defense, though, is nowhere near the level of the Buccaneers defense. It's nowhere near the level of Patriots defense when Brady was there. And that's where I think the issues come for the Raiders. While they have a nice weapon on the outside in Adams, they have Waller, they have Renfro, etc., they don't really have that defense that's able to, allow Tom Brady to settle into games and not have to go into shootouts in a very tough division with Herbert, who's going to get a better offensive coordinator, and they're also got to compete with the Chiefs as well. Russell Wilson's going to be better, possibly Sean Payton coming into the division. That's a very tough spot for him. Think about when he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Breeze was on his final legs. He wasn't going to stick around more than one season. We saw that they had Bridgewater in Carolina. Obviously, that didn't work out. We saw Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, that didn't scare him either. The Buccaneers were easily the best team in that division and added a big quarterback in there to kind of solidify their spot. And that's what they did. Now, where could that be this time around? Well, there's a number of spots out there. In that same division, I think there's an outside chance that the New Orleans Saints would be a great fit for him. Do I think they'll take him? I don't think it will happen, but I think that'd be a great spot. Kamara's going to be suspended, but they're going to have a nice rotation at running back like they always do. They have a really good offensive line. Their defense is lights out. Gave all kinds of problems to Brady. They have some good weapons on the outside with Olave, etc. They're going to invest in that team as well. They have picks, etc., to use this season, and they're going to have a little bit of money anyway in free agency. I think they could use that for Brady and then split it up a little bit for maybe a running back to give them a 1-year stopgap option for Kamara, depending on how many games Kamara is going to be held out due to suspension. But that would be one team I'd keep my eye on as an outside dark horse candidate for him to go to. The Tennessee Titans, another one of his former teammates, Mike Vrabel, is the head coach there. They do not have a number one target on the outside, which is the biggest problem for them. They're going to have to add one via the draft. Sure, they have Burks, etc., but nobody's there the likes of a Mike Evans or an A.J. Brown who was just traded from Tennessee, or a Randy Moss, or anything like that. And so they're really going to have to manufacture it. The one thing in their favor, decent offensive line play, and they have a really good running back with Derrick Henry. The defense, though, is very good as well. On the other side of the ball, he's just going to have to work with some no-name receivers, much like he did in the beginning of his career with the Patriots. I don't think he's averse to going to that type of situation, but it's something he might be leery of if he decides to go to Tennessee. Other teams that could be in the mix for a quarterback, we've mentioned a few of them already. The New York Jets are a quarterback away from being right there. They have some good weapons on the outside. They have all-pro running back and Breece Hall in the wings. He just needs to get healthy now. Their defense is all-world right now, and so I think that would be a great fit. Do I think Tom Brady would necessarily go to the Jets? I don't think so. I think they are looking to go in a different direction, possibly in Lamar Jackson route or an Aaron Rodgers route. They're looking for big game right now at the quarterback spot. And while Tom Brady is certainly big game, I don't think he's the type of quarterback they necessarily want to have there. I think if they go the straight free agency route, I think Jimmy Garoppolo will be their guy. If they go the trade route, I think Aaron Rodgers could be the person because of the hire of Nathaniel Hackett. Otherwise, they have Lamar Jackson. And then, of course, Derek Carr is also, I think, all ahead of Tom Brady as far as going to the Jets. If the Ravens decide to move on from Lamar Jackson, I think they're going to go with an in-house option in Huntley. I don't think they would turn to Tom Brady, so scratch them off the list. The Arizona Cardinals are going to need a quarterback for the first few games of their season after Kyler Murray had his injury. Again, that's only a short absence, though. Go ahead and cross them off their list. The Broncos gave all that money to Russell Wilson. They're not going to have money to spend on Tom Brady. Cross them off their list. The LA Rams, anyway, have Stafford already in-house, Baker Mayfield, etc. Do I think either one of them would preclude Tom Brady from going there if he really, really, really said, I want to go to the Rams, pounded the table like a 5-year-old? No, he's not going to be able to go there. I don't think that something's going to happen there to be able to make it happen. And by the way, the Rams have so much money already committed that it'd be difficult for them to even try to bring him in, be able to protect him because they struggle to protect for Stafford. That's not a good option either. The Seattle Seahawks, anyway, are another good option out there because they have some decent offensive line. They got some nice pieces on the defensive side of the ball, and they have picks and picks and picks and picks. That'd be a great option for him. One of the best options, though, is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. I understand Brock Purdy played great, but we saw one hit to the elbow. He was out. We saw how good that team is as far as the weapons around him, but you need a quarterback in there that's healthy, and Tom Brady is healthy. He posts every single day. That offensive line is pretty darn good. The defense is number one in the league. They just need a quarterback that's able to stay upright long enough to be able to keep them on the winning trajectory. They were on their fifth-string quarterback by the end of the NFC Championship game. no team is going to be able to survive that kind of thing. They're still going to have Trey Lance in house. They're still going to have Brock Purdy. They could allow Purdy to try to learn from Tom Brady. I understand that. Maybe trade away Lance to see what they could get for him on the trade market. Allow Jimmy Garoppolo to leave in free agency and allow Tom Brady to really work and get them a Super Bowl. That would be a great option for them. I think he would fit very well there. I think they're probably going to try to lean towards Purdy and a quarterback competition there between Purdy and Lance in training camp and see who comes out on top. I think Purdy will win that. But a team that's able to bring in Tom Brady with the weapons that are already in place there, as well as the defense, that would be a Super Bowl team in my estimation. Even with an aging Tom Brady, he would do wonderful things there in that with that roster. I haven't mentioned the Dallas Cowboys yet. I know Cowboys fans out there are sick and tired of seeing Dak Prescott, turn over the ball, struggle with offense over the last couple of years. This was once the top overall offense a couple of years ago with Kellen Moore at the helm as the offensive coordinator. He's out now. Whoever they decide to use as their play caller, whether it be Mike McCarthy or whoever they decide to bring in as an offensive coordinator, they're going to have some big shoes to fill because Kellen Moore had them in the top 10 3 out of the 4 years he was their offensive coordinator. And they have some question marks, especially as far as the running back spot. What do they do with Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard? Do they make a draft pick there? On the defensive side of the ball, they're going to have to replace Anthony Brown at one of the corner spots. They could use a run-stopping defensive tackle in the draft. They're going to have a little bit of money to spend in free agency, but if they spend all of that on a guy like Tom Brady and then try to trade a guy like Dak Prescott, they lose all leverage to try to trade him for the best cap savings anyway as a post-June 1st trade. Teams want to know their roster. They want to know their quarterback as quickly as possible, so they would want to make that Dak Prescott trade earlier, and I don't think that's going to happen. Just way too much dead money for that to happen, and I don't think Tom Brady, while he would be a nice fit in Dallas, really would move the needle for them as far as fan base, legitimacy, all those types of things. I think they're going to be stuck with Dak Prescott as their starting quarterback. So let us know in the comments section where you think Tom Brady is going to play this next season. Or do you think he retires? Do you think he just packs it up and says, all right, I'm done. The off-the-field stuff's getting too much on my mind. I can't keep it all separate anymore. I'm happy with my rings that I've won. I'm the greatest quarterback in the NFL ever. I have nothing left to prove. I'm still a very good NFL quarterback. I could come back if I want to, but I just don't have that fire anymore. That's another option. But if I were a betting man, I would say one of the teams that I mentioned here today would be the most likely for Tom Brady. Whether that's the 49ers, the Titans, the Raiders, the Saints, any one of these teams out there that need a quarterback remains to be seen. It's a little too early in the offseason for us to be picking a favorite out of those yet. But let us know in the comment section where you think Tom Brady goes. We'll see where he goes. But make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us here at the Upside Sports Network. Follow us on Twitter at UpsideSN and on Facebook at the Upside Sports Network. But thank you guys for joining us here tonight, and y'all have a good one.